My name is Rosalind Tucker, and the event I have chosen dates back to the 12th of October 1998. On this day, a young man named Matthew Shepherd was tortured and murdered in the town of Laramie, Wyoming. His death sparked national and international awareness against hate crime and brought the government to legislate against attacks based on sexuality and gender identity. On the night of the 7th of October, Matthew Shepherd was enjoying a drink at the Fireside Lounge in Wyoming, where he met the convicted Henderson and McKinney. After befriending Matthew, they offered him a lift home. When Matthew admitted he was gay, they took him to a remote location where he was beaten, tortured, and left hanging tied to a fence for 18 hours to his eventual death. Both Henderson and McKinney were convicted of first-degree murder, and while the death penalty option was deliberated, Mr. and Mrs. Shepherd brokered a deal to spare his life, seeing McKinney serve 2 consecutive life sentences without any option of parole. The death of Matthew Shepherd promoted outcry in the community. Rallies took place in support of gay rights, while a religious group led by Reverend Fred Phelps picketed at Shepherd's funeral with slogans like "God hates fags" and "AIDS kills fags dead." A counter-protest was initiated by a friend of Shepherd's, wearing white wings like angels circling the religious group in silence. Police had to create a human barrier between the 2 protest groups, as the emotion caused the situation to be later described by journalists as electric. The impact of the Shepherd story created the Matthew Shepherd Foundation, one that supports the rights of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender youth and their protection in our community. Plays and literature have been written about Matthew Shepherd, as the community learn that only through awareness and education can we prevent another tragedy like this from occurring. Although not necessarily a contemporaneous event, the death of Matthew Shepherd, I believe, is an interesting and engaging subject for around the year 9 to 10 student group. The vast amount of media information on the topic and promoting students to research more would help convey the message when discussing the notion of difference in community identities. In teaching this topic, I would introduce the story by getting a copy of the play, The Laramie Project, the story of Matthew Shepherd. And with over 30 roles, this gives an opportunity for every student in a play reading to be part of the story. Also, if an opportunity existed to take the class to see the play, this would help further in the development of the portrayal of this story. After students have familiarized themselves with the story, I would prompt questions for them to answer, like, how does a story like Matthew Shepherd's help us open our eyes to community difference? I also believe that taking the role of transformative educator, broaching on a subject like sexual identity and gender stereotyping, I am teaching on playground issues and social structures of gender, and at least one student in my class will be affected or has been affected by bullying based on their gender identity and a failure to conform to their masculine or feminine expectations. Without so much as teaching my political viewpoint on gay issues, I give with a story like Matthew Shepherd's an opportunity for students to formulate opinions on their own when it comes to their own treatment of those who do not fit within the stereotype of their perception of masculine or feminine. This event is perfect because it enacted change. Politicians who were willing to dismiss the event as a hoax or a robbery gone wrong had their eyes open to the perception of the community. Teaching gender identity and acceptance, I believe, is so important in the role of the transformative educator. Epson's comment in Real Boys Don't Work backs up how relevant gender identity and stereotyping is on the development of our younger generation. The worst thing a boy can be called is a girl, even worse than being called a gay boy, poof, or sissy. In conclusion, I believe the teaching of this event will really assist the students in evaluating their self and behaviours and hopefully assist in the reduction of discrimination. I hope that this will lead to a greater understanding and acceptance of difference and diversity in our modern world.